Okay, everybody, it's me. Here we go again. This freaking freak show, and we're gonna have some fun. So Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. I hope you're keeping an eye on risk. Well, imagine my shock. Imagine your shock. The cavalry yet has not seemed to arrive. That is, the 10-year yield is spiking. You got it sitting. I had to write this down. 10-year yield 4.14. That's pretty significant considering where we just were a couple of weeks ago. We have the dollar on a relative strength basis higher. We got futures, stock futures lower, pretty much across the board. Now, if you were to turn on Fox Business, Bloomberg, CNBC, you can hear the fear in the voices of some of the commentators, and there's a lot of calls stating that this is the top of the market, this is the top, this is the top. I hate calling tops. I hate calling bottoms. I think it's nearly an impossible task. But what I can say here is, let's just put this together real quick. We here in the United States just lost our AAA credit rating. That's a pretty big deal in my view. Although, I don't know if you heard out of the mouth of Jamie Dimon, he said it's not really a big deal. I think the man's deluded. Again, you would never hear the CEO of any bank, forgetting about a super bank like JP Morgan, try to explain to people that we got a problem. Again, these kinds of people, they want you in there, they want you borrowing, they want to issue you all kinds of credit or debt. They want to bury you. So when you hear something like that come out of the mouth of the CEO of a Wall Street super bank, saying he's downplaying this, you know it's a serious matter. I think it's pretty obvious. Anyway, so as I said, we got a debt downgrade, and we got a market where risk is getting a little bit out of control. Where do I stand on this? Look, I'm going to tell you again. I think the cavalry is going to arrive. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Nothing major has occurred yet. Yes, this market has fallen under pressure pretty much ever since the MMRI crossed 250. Yet again, imagine my shock. Oh no, oh no. But we're gonna watch this. Keep your eyes on that 10-year yield. Keep your eyes on the relative strength of the dollar. Better yet, the MMRI. Free to you, free to everybody. Link in the description of this lovely video. Now let us move forward away from that. So the Bank of England, let's laugh, you and me, just for a moment, because it's just too freaking much. So the Bank of England raises rates 25 basis points. This is a token rate hike, along with, we had the Federal Reserve 25, ECB 25, now Bank of England 25. Look, this whole thing is a farce. It's a joke. They're trying to convince people that they're really trying to do something about inflation. It's the biggest lie on the face of the earth. There's no talk whatsoever about raising the capital reserve requirements for the major institutions, which would contract the money supply and inflation would actually go away. But no, what they're trying to do here, again, is the same deception tactic that they've been using since day one, that you and I knew was nothing more than a farce from day one. We discussed it right here, how they can raise rates from here to wherever they want. Ain't going to work, okay? These central banks have been on a mission since the last meltdown here to prop up the markets and reinflate a stock market bubble and a housing bubble, real estate hyper bubble here, creating distortions across the spectrum of asset classes, printing cash out of thin air, buying it all, because that's where their strength lies, people. No one knows this better than you. The power of any central bank resides in one freaking thing. What is that one thing, people? You know what I'm going to tell you. Their ability to inflate. And with this hideous, and I mean hideous, relationship between so-called world leaders and these central banks, all they're going to do is inflate and inflate. Speaking of that, I'm sitting here flipping through the channels this morning. I believe it was Bloomberg, and they're talking about this fantastic number, this GDP number that came in a few days ago, better than anyone could have expected. It's 2.4%. Meanwhile, let's consider this. Let's consider this for a moment. Are you ready? Take a deep breath. Consider the fact that they're telling us by their own numbers, that inflation is rising at 3%. So right there, we're in some kind of a hideous contraction mode. Meanwhile, you got energy and especially food inflation. Imagine my shock, our shock, outpacing everything. But you see, they don't want you to know that. So they float out these fake numbers at you. Do you realize if they were to calculate inflation the way they used to do it, let's say back in the 70s, we'd be probably about 15%. That's the truth. But you see, the way that they twist all of this today in this mind screw on an unprecedented scale to try to convince the masses of people of whatever they want to convince them of. I mean, that's sincerely why the propaganda ministry exists. I got my propaganda ministry over there. And the way I have this whole thing set up here, there's Bloomberg on right now. They have some freak with a funky hairdo out there. Yeah, I should speak about hairdos. Mine's pretty funky too, right? But honestly, it's just too much. So here's the question this morning. Look, this is a family. This is a team effort, and it is sincerely possible that I am in some kind of a delusional phase. Do you believe still that, where do you stand on what action the Federal Reserve is going to take? Do you believe they're going to allow this to get out of control right now? In other words, we're going to see the 10-year yield bang, 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 bang. We're going to see the MMRI bang, 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 bang. We're going to see global stock markets crater. A lot of talk about a market top. A lot of talk. I mean, across the propaganda ministry, it's the top. We just lost our AAA rating. We got risk in this market rising at a very alarming pace. Maybe it is the top, but I want to hear from you. Do you think central banks are done? Remember, this is a presidential selection cycle, not election. We don't get to choose a damn thing. I think that's pretty evident. Anyway, that's the story. Let's move on a little bit here. You got cryptocurrencies this morning under a little pressure. You got gold and silver under a little pressure here. You got crude oil catching a bid. People, you know where I stand with commodities. I sincerely hope you're at least stacking silver, okay? You want to hold one commodity? That's it. I can't imagine a better one to hold moving forward in this environment. It's the ultimate hedge in Greg Mannarino's view, based upon what we're seeing here. It's just going to get monumentally worse, and it's going to eventually implode, and I think so badly and so fast, it's going to spin people's heads around like the freaking Exorcist. I've been telling you this for the longest freaking time here. Commodity exposure in one form or another. Again, I've spoken about exchange-traded funds. I put out at least 5 free newsletters in my newsletter, link below, to exchange-traded funds you might want to look at. Holding it in your hand is a pretty damn good way of hedging yourself here, and you got to be taking action. What do I always tell you? This is a channel for people of action, not people that are going to sit back, twiddle their thumbs and toes, and not do something about the situation. Whenever you have something like this, and we've never been here before, this presents opportunity. Forget about the people out here, this is all doom and gloom. Everything is doom and gloom. No, this is not doom and gloom, okay? This is about looking for opportunity, wherever it might be. And in my view, there's opportunity all over the place right now, especially in commodities. Freaking commodities. And, for now, I mean, look, if in fact we get the cavalry, and the cavalry, I'm referring to the Federal Reserve, getting in here, increasing purchases of debt, which would in turn weaken the dollar on a relative strength basis, or if they get in here and start buying the market. Again, the Federal Reserve buys large cap stocks to prop up the market. Why do you think, for example, it's just a few companies that seem to drive the entire market? That's the Federal Reserve. Yes, they buy the market. As much as they tell us they don't, well, they do. And this is why they have a trading desk at the New York Fed. Anyway, people, look, we covered so much today, and I want to hear from you on these topics. What do you think about this? I mean, this whole touting of this fantastic GDP number coming in at 2.4%. Meanwhile, inflation's at 3%. How is that a good thing? GDP is still trailing inflation by a large margin. Food and energy inflation, imagine my shock and yours, because we've been talking about this for the longest time, outpacing everything else here. It's completely nuts. One last thing. I just did a new interview, and I want you to have a listen to this. I'm going to place a link in the description of this video to this new interview I just did. We talked about a lot of things. I think it'll be good for those of you, especially those of you who have an understanding of the crypto space. We covered a lot of stuff there too. All right, people, look, this guy here loves you a lot from the heart. I mean that with all I got. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, top of my heart, and sides of my heart for all of the support that I got yesterday from the super chat in my live stream. I was absolutely blown away. It was the most ever. And I just thank you. I was blown away, truly. I will see all of you later on, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time for my live stream. I'm going drag racing later. If any of you have nothing to do, I will be at Bradenton Motorsports Park with my CUDA. Going to run that later for the first time, and we'll see how that thing does. Got little butterflies in my stomach. I never ran it before. I don't know what to expect, so it'll be interesting. So maybe I'll catch some of you over there, but I'll talk about this later during the live stream. All right, love you a lot. Please share the video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you've got anything out of it. Again, it's so important for the algorithm. They see that thumbs up, YouTube shows the video. And I want people to hear this stuff. I think you do too. All right, I'm out of here. See you later. That's all.